Hey guys, it's JonTaun for Brohammer, and today I'm coming at you with the semifinals of Shadow Online Gaming's YouTuber tournament. So today I'll be using the Empire, and I'll be facing off against Shadow Online Gaming himself as the Dark Elves. So I think this is a very good matchup for the Dark Elves. They're probably the strongest faction in the game, probably a toss-up between them and the Dwarves. And it's gonna be tough for me. He's been getting a lot of training from the Gobble King, and it's gonna come in handy, as you'll see in this battle. Alrighty, so let's go over army compositions. I've got 4 swordsmen in the front along with the Sigmar sons. I got 3 great swords behind them, 3 crossbows, some demigryph knights with halberds, 2 empire knights, and 3 spears. I've also brought Balthazar Gel. So why did I bring Balthazar Gel? Well, Malekith is the most competitive lord, I believe, for the Dark Elves. So bringing Balthazar Gel on a Pegasus, he can outrun Malekith on his Black Dragon all day. And while he does that, he can also throw down Plague of Rust and Transmutation of Lead. So most of the Dark Elf roster is very heavily armored. So let's look at these. They're like their basic infantry right here. Blackheart Corsairs, which are a great choice against the Empire. They beat all Empire infantry except for Greatswords. They have 80 armor here, and even his ranged component in this army are also Blackheart Corsairs, so they also have 80 armor. This is Blackguard of Nagaron. I believe, yeah, he does have one of those. Have 100, and his Hargoneth Executioners have 100 as well. So the only thing he has that's really not armored is Witch Elves, which are why I brought the crossbows. So that, the Plague of Rust can be quite useful against them, as well as the Transmutation of Lead, which will just debuff their melee stats. So let's go over his army. As you may have saw, he has 3 Blackheart Corsairs with crossbows. He's also got 1, 2, 3 Blackheart Corsairs, 2 Witch Elves, 2 Blackguard of Nagaron, and a Hargoneth Executioner with Malekith on foot. So I like that he brought him on foot. If he was to bring him in the air and I was to bring gunners, as well as Boris, he could really be singled out. So I like his choice to go on foot. I might have put him on a cold one myself, but being on foot, he can get knocked around if I was to bring like a Griffin, so it would make him a lot tankier. So let's get into it, guys. Oh, look at that. I also forgot to mention he has some Dark Riders in each corner. So yeah, that's going to be good for getting at all my my archers back here. Alright, so we're just going to be advancing on each other. And I decided to go with a lot of swordsmen here because I just wanted them to be a holding force, and I found them pretty effective in previous matchups. As you can see, they're already down to 15 armor since he's casting Power of Darkness on one of his units over here. So I'm going to start shooting at these Blackheart Corsairs with handbows, but at the time I didn't realize that the Blackheart Corsairs with handbows actually have 80 armor themselves. So these crossbows aren't going to do much. I decided to feign a charge with my Empire Knights just to get them to fall back. But I also didn't know about the Blackheart Corsairs so that they could fire while moving in a 360-degree arc. So that's very bad for me. So seeing that he's really got the skirmish advantage, I need to get into combat as fast as I can. So I'm going to send up all these swordsmen and great swords and just get in the fight. And try to do some cycle charging with my Empire Knights. As you can see, he's pulling back his Blackheart Corsairs. And I'm going to start concentrating my crossbows on these Witch Elves. So that's the whole reason I brought crossbow, guys. Witch Elves are such a useful unit. They're like a stronger net of Ammentop. There's good things and bad things. You have to actually get them to the unit for them to be useful. But with Madness of Cain, they're basically a stronger net of Ammentop if you can get them to where they need to be. So I'm just going to be cycle charging with my cav over here. Pull my archers back and concentrating on those Witch Elves. But we're not going to do that great against them, even though we're concentrating fire on them, because they're mixed in with a bunch of heavily armored Blackheart Corsairs. So I'm going to sneak these Empire Knights right through into the back and try to get on these Blackheart Corsairs with handbows. But as y'all going to see, look at these Empire Knights. They're at 3/4 health. They're actually going to lose to these Blackheart Corsairs with handbows in melee combat. So I really underestimated those. So as you can see, we're overwhelmingly losing the frontline battle here. I can't control any of these troops because of these Witch Elves over here. And we're doing pretty good in the middle here. We're holding. But I think over time these Hargoneth Executioners can probably kill all 3 of these units very easily. So we're still shooting up the Witch Elves over here, and as you can see, this line is falling apart. With this Blackheart Corsair with handbow support, my guys just can't do much. So he's charging in his Dark Riders in the back over here, and I did not even see them. I moved these Spearmen over here to try to go after those Black Art Crusaders, but they're already moving off, and he got his Dark Riders in behind me. So I'm moving these Spearmen to intercept these Dark Riders right here, and I am going to get on these guys. But as you can see, it took my crossbowmen a really long time to kill these Witch Elves. Way too long, so that wasn't really effective to me. And those swordsmen held up those Blackguard at Nagaron, but they can barely deal any damage in return. As you can see, I got a macro mistake here. These guys are just standing here, and now I'm repathing them onto the Blackguard at Nagaron. So these guys are heavily armored, so hopefully they won't take too much damage from these Blackguard Crusaders with handbows. And I'm not going after them because I know that they're just going to run them. So as you can see, he's doing a really good job. I'm going to keep these Empire Knights back here to ward off these Dark Riders. I'm just trying to shoot in. Basically, his infantry outclasses mine like very, very heavily. Alright, so let's look at Blackheart Corsairs. Just right here. Let's look at the stats on these guys. They have 80 armor, 47 melee attack, and 31 melee defense. Okay, so martial prowess is on right now, so it's not going to be quite that high. They got quite a buff right now. But these Blackheart Crusaders only cost 600, and they have 80 armor. So they're going to be able to beat any infantry that the Empire has, except for greatswords. So the Empire's best option for them costs 350 more than them, and they can bring those and much more expensive units that really outclass the greatswords like Blackguard and Nagaron and Hargoneth Executioner. So it's really, really tough for the Empire. But really, I wasn't expecting these Blackheart Crusaders with handbows to be quite so good. It's really quite amazing. So I definitely suggest bringing those guys in the Empire versus Dark Elf matchup. And possibly a lot more. They can be really useful against High Elves, I think, too. Like just draw kiting White Lions or Swordmasters of Hoa. So my crossbows are actually doing pretty good this whole match. Unfortunately, like I said, we've taken out most of the Witch Elves. Actually, we still have some here. Witch Elves have really good leadership, despite having only 5 armor. They keep on coming back, so they can get that Madness Decay on your units and just make it so that you can't control your units, which is extremely powerful. Like I said, it's like a more powerful net of Ammontok that you actually have to engage melee on to get. But at this point, his front line thrashed my front line so hard that now all I have left is crossbows, and crossbows don't have armor piercing. And since I've mostly taken care of all the Witch Elves, the rest of his army has really, really high armor. And like I said before, these Blackheart Crusaders with handbows that he's forgotten about back here, they beat a unit of Empire Knights that were at 75% health. So yeah, they are not bad in melee. Actually, let's go ahead and look at their melee stats. So they're 32 and 24. With 28 weapon strength. So that's almost on the level of Empire Swordsmen, except that these guys also have 80 armor, so they'll beat Empire Swordsmen. And they'll probably beat any infantry that aren't greatswords as well, so a great choice against Empire. And as you can see, now that I don't have anything to protect my archers, and my archers don't have the armor piercing to do any damage to any of his troops, it's pretty much over here, guys. So very well played, this Shadow Online Gaming. I believe he got this build from the Gobble King. I gotta say, it works fantastic. Gobble King is a very good player, and I really like that he was helping out Shadow here. Because Shadow, I believe, didn't do a lot of competitive multiplayer, but he's getting much better very fast. I like it a lot. So Gelt here, he's been throwing down Plague of Rust and Transmutations of Lead the whole match, but it doesn't seem to have really helped much. I should have brought some more impactful magic. I think in hindsight, I probably would have brought more great swords. Probably would have dropped the Sigmar Suns. Maybe, and I'm thinking maybe I would have gone Spearmen with shields instead, as they have 42 melee defense, because as I'll show you after this battle, the swordsmen, they got no kills. So basically, it would have been a better idea just to bring the spearmen, because they'll just last longer with that much higher melee defense. So now it's pretty much down to Gelt versus Malekith over here. And you know what? I'm going all in here. And Gelt just punts Malekith across the field into Agrippa's Harganeth Executioners. I mean, just humiliating him in front of all his troops. That has gotta hurt. So I'm just having fun at this point. I know I've lost. I'm just gonna try to humiliate Malekith over here some. But as you can see, these Black Art Corsairs with handbows are actually really accurate, and being that Gel only has 50 armor, they are just destroying him. I pop a Plague of Rust here on Malekith, but he's just pulling him through his lines. Malekith doesn't want any of that. He doesn't. He's too good for Balthasar Gel. He's not a competitive legendary lord. So yeah, I'm just gonna be trolling around here with Gel. So yeah, I think I would have brought some more great swords. I think I probably would have gone handgunners instead of crossbows. And maybe 2 Reiksguard instead of the 2 Empire Knights, and I would have dropped the Demigriff Knights with Halberds, I believe. I also probably would have gone with Borch Todbringer on a Griffin. So yeah, guys, look at the army breakdown here. As you can see, guys, these Spearmen pretty much did just as well as the Swordsmen. In the first game, I used Swordsmen very, very rarely, and I'm starting to think again. I thought they had some uses against the newer factions, but I'm quickly changing my mind back to the fact that these guys are useless and should almost never be brought. Like, they are just fodder. I'm thinking that Spearmen shields would be better, as they still have the shields for the 35% missile block chance, but they also have 42 melee defense, so they can hold out some time. And they're only 400, so. So yeah, I think Spearmen with shields, 4 of those guys, 4 great swords, some handgunners, some Reiksguard, a competent lord, and maybe the lore of Heavens for the Common Cassadora, which can really destroy like a group of Blackguard or Harganeth Executioners. So as you can see here, his army was all very armored. He had plenty of things to kite with, and he had plenty of units to pressure the back line with. So he kept me on my toes the whole game, and he played very well. So very good game to Shadow Online Gaming. I look forward to any further tournaments. I'm sure I'll see him in some in the future. And this is going to be JonTaun for Total Brohammer signing out.